right, good evening, everyone. I am Andrew. So I'm 36 years old, and I was getting prostate pain. So I went to the urologist, and he sure enough, if you've never been to a urologist, it's kind of depressing. You go in there, there's a lot of elderly people. No offense to the elderly men, but you have to wait 2 hours, and then they say drop your drawers. Bend over, they take the hand, they go like this, and they check your prostate. Apparently I have prostatitis, a swollen prostate, and they prescribe doxycycline for that. I don't know where this joke is going, really, if anywhere, but yeah, that's a true story, believe it or not. I know a lot of people might not believe that, but that is indeed a true story. There are doctors that require you to be naked, like dermatologists, for example. So they tell you to get completely naked because they're going to give you a full-body dermatology check. And then the doctor leaves the room when you get naked. And before re-entering, the doctor knocks. Why is he knocking? Is he warning me to stop rummaging through his latex gloves, Band-Aids, and cotton swabs? I'm naked. He might as well just burst in the door. So obviously I quickly stop rummaging through that and get into place. And I get the dermatology check. So obviously, I'm anxious of New York City, and I'm afraid of crime and getting assaulted by a criminal. So my mother said, who's trying to encourage me to go in there for socialization, she said, you just go in there. Just go in there and don't worry. If a criminal messes with you, I could go in there and. It wouldn't even matter if a criminal messed with me and assaulted me because, I'm so tough. And I get what she was trying to say. My mother was trying to say, she's tough. Don't worry. But God forbid a criminal did actually assault you in New York City. That would be pretty devastating. You'd probably start to cry. You'd probably start to feel like really traumatized and such. So I know my mother. She's like, oh, I dare the criminals to assault me. But her tone would change immediately if that actually happened. I get what she's trying to say, like be courageous, have guts, but yeah. So the moral of the story, yes, it sounds good. Don't be anxious, go in the city, but obviously if you did actually get assaulted, that'd be pretty bad. Obviously I have severe mental health challenges, if anybody can't tell, and I'm taking quite a bit of medication. So I went into a doctor's appointment, and they asked me, what medications are you on? And I have to say Latuda, Lamictal, Lithium. And I screwed up. Okay, the cute 24-something-year-old nurse comes into the room, and she asks me, what medications are you on? And I have to say Latuda, Lamictal, Lithium. And that's just the L's. By the time I get to the R's, I feel like she swiped left on me, like it's Tinder, She asks me, have you ever been hospitalized? Yes. For what reasons have you been hospitalized? For psychiatric reasons. It's really embarrassing, obviously. So I was watching TikTok, and I know TikTok, they say, what is that? Is that the Chinese government gathering information and spying on Americans? And there was this guy on TikTok who was basically an Oedipus man. He was saying, you're going to only find true love with one woman. It's not your girlfriend. It's not your father. You're gonna only you only find true love with your mother. And I'm thinking, and like all the comments are saying about Oedipus man, like, oh, this is so inspiring, this is so like inspirational. I'm thinking this guy's a little bit too into his mother, and he was going like, a mother's love is true love. I don't know where I'm going with that. And so I was riding the railroad, and I was thinking to myself how I'm special, how I'm different, how I'm going to be a future movie star. And I noticed I was on train car 666. And I asked my psychiatrist, does this mean I need to attend church again? Does this mean I need to find religion? He said there's a train car 646, 656, 666, 676, and so on. It's the luck of the draw. It's predicate logic, ideas of reference. It's not a message from God. So, I mean, that's his take. So, according to psychiatrists, God is a delusion. That's what they think, at least. At least some of them. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some psychiatrists that believe in God, but I know mine personally doesn't. So I was watching hockey, the New York Islanders, and there was this hockey player who was in his early 20s, and my father asked me, how does it feel knowing this hockey player has more money than you'll ever see in your life, a multi-million-dollar contract, and is younger than you? And I thought to myself, yeah, that's true, because I'm disabled at 36 years old with less than $2,000. But there's things about me that I like. I'm suave, I'm cool, I think I'm able to express myself in an intellectual way. This hockey player seemed like a dud. He seemed like a dumb jock. Me personally, what I like, he has more money than my father and mother will ever see. And, would I like his money? Yes. Would I like to be in perfect shape like him? Yes. But I'd much rather be me than him.
Woo!
So I'm sitting back watching my life pass me by, and my father said, Andrew, you need to pull the trigger. He means like a starting gun, like begin your life, begin the race. That seemed like good advice until I mentioned it to my psychiatrist. Apparently, pull the trigger is bad advice for somebody who is depressed. Yeah. My psychiatrist says mental health recovery is more like moving sand. I don't know if he was insulting me or not, because moving sand seems like he's saying I'm going to be working at a supermarket or Home Depot. Or maybe it's like constructing a house. So I am moving the sand, constructing the house. I don't know. I'm trying stand-up comedy. Yeah.
Woo!
That's your cue to applaud. Okay. So on Snapchat, there's this thing where you can transform yourself into a woman. You take a picture of yourself and you look at yourself and you make yourself a woman. I thought to myself, wow, I'm a really attractive woman. I said, if I was a woman, I would be a perfect 10. Obviously, woman Andrew would probably have some mental health challenges and such, and would be a little quirky and mentally ill. But I personally would want to date myself if I was a woman. So I don't know, because I thought woman Andrew was pretty hot. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that, but it's true. So, how many of you work out at a public gym? If you did, I guess some of you, some people. So, when you're finished with the treadmill, they want you to spray a paper towel and disinfect the treadmill. But how much is that, after you work out an hour and get sweat all over the treadmill, how much is the disinfectant wipe really sanitizing the equipment? The person after you thanks you and they say, thank you for sanitizing the treadmill, and they appreciate it, obviously, but I might as well spit at the treadmill like this, and say thank me for sanitizing it, because that's how much this disinfectant is really doing it. One day my heart was racing and I thought I was having a heart attack, but I still had to use the disinfecting wipe and sanitize the equipment, and they all thanked me because you don't want to lose your gym membership. But I don't know, maybe heart attack jokes weren't funny. But I don't know. But I actually do have a bicuspid aortic valve. I don't know why I even, which means you have two valves instead of 3. I don't know why I'm sharing that. It's pretty random, but I'm actually medically diagnosed as having, but you can live a normal life, and most people can go 50, 60, 70 years without any problems. So I'm going to leave you with that. I have a bicuspid aortic valve. Congratulations.